fitness expert, entrepreneur, Jake Steinfeld is here on the program.
Wow.
Yeah. Good to see you, man.
Rich,
How are you?
I got to say.
What are you saying?
I got to say something.
What are you saying, Jake?
This is very professional.
What are you? What?
No. I'm just, look, I love you. We go back a long way.
We sure do.
We go back a long way. Stevie B, I heard a little intro. The great Steve Bornstein,
yes.
who is the king of all sports media.
And the man who I say is smart enough to have hired me twice.
Yes. He did.
That's how smart he is.
And I was there the second time at the launch of the NFL Network.
You were there that day.
We were there together.
You were there.
It was really great. And you're done. Super proud.
Thank
really,
you, man.
honestly, I'm super proud. I could bust balls for the next 20 minutes, but then I can't tell my story. So
well, this would never have happened had I not strolled into Steve Bornstein's office in Culver City at the NFL Network back in the day to say to him, you know what, I want to start a podcast. And you know what he said to me? He goes, how much is it going to cost? That's the first thing he said.
And by the way, that's exactly, you just did him. How much is it going to cost?
Oh, I can do my Stevie B. I say, how much is it going to cost? And I'm like, nothing. And he goes, why are you even asking me? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, because, there's some auspices.
Sure.
I'm going to need this. I'm going to need that. And then, boom, yada, 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 here we sit.
That's the kind of guy he is. But honestly, fellas, the place looks great.
Thanks,
I don't know if the audience has done a spin around to take a look at everything
every now and
and
then.
everybody. I mean, this is like I've been doing what I've been doing for a long, long time. I thought I was going to come to your house in the basement with a couple of fellas, have some underwear on the side.
Like Wayne's World?
Like Wayne's World. Like Susie would yelling to you, shut up downstairs. The kids are sleeping,
No, but she sits here at this chair frequently as well.
She's awesome, too.
I know. Awesome. Listen, we go way back, and I'm thrilled to have you here.
Thank you, buddy.
And so, how did you wind up on ESPN? Was it?
Wow.
Was that Steve?
It was Steve Bornstein.
Okay.
Ted Turner gave me my start doing the Fitness Break on Cable News Network in 1981.
Damn.
And a crazy story. I had just moved to Westwood.
Okay.
And Westwood didn't have cable yet. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of dating myself.
Sorry.
And I was training Hugh Hefner and Barbie Benton at the mansion, right?
Okay.
And I'll never forget, on my answering machine, I picked up a message. Back in the day, you used to have that little box. You used to go, you hear, and then the machine would play back messages.
Yes.
There was a message from Ted Turner. There was an article on me in People magazine.
Yeah.
I was training Terry Garr, Priscilla Presley, Steven Spielberg, and Harrison Ford. They said when Spielberg, when Jake balks, Spielberg, Presley, and Ford jump, right? And it was, People magazine used to be, that was the Bible.
This is, sure.
And I got a message from Ted Turner. Said, I have a new cable network called Cable News Network.
Yes.
And I would like you to do a fitness show because I want to make the network more family friendly. And I was not interested in becoming Jake LaLanne because a lot of the people that I was training were putting me in TV shows and movies, and it was just, it's been a dream. I'll tell you that, Rich, as you know. I went to the mansion, I trained these guys, and after the workout, I said to Hef, I said, you know this guy, Ted Turner? He says, I absolutely do. He's terrific. And I said, he wants me to do a show. I don't want to do a show. We started talking. And I said, what if we did a commercial to promote me, and this guy pays me? He goes, keep talking. I said, I have an idea. What if we do this Fitness Break by Jake?
Yeah.
And can I use 12 Playmates? That's what I said. And he said, keep talking. And I said, I train Spielberg, who I call Wheels. I give everybody a nickname.
Steven Spielberg's nickname is Wheels?
Wheels. I've known him since...
Spielberg.
Wheels.
Okay.
And it's just Wheels.
Okay.
It's just simple, easy.
Okay. Yeah.
See, I grew up with a stutter. So really, and I would give everyone a nickname so I could make me feel best. So I continued it on throughout my life. It makes everybody feel like we're back in junior high gym class.
Yeah.
And so I said, let me talk to Wheels because he had a house on Broad Beach, and I figured let me see if I could use his backyard to shoot these things. He said yes. Hef said yes. Ted Turner gave me $30,000 to shoot 200 1-minute vignettes. And if you remember, they were on, like, you remember Flip Spiceland, who did the weather on Cable News Network? Well, he would have, that's a callback. Flip, I hope you're great, buddy.
Yeah.
And what I did was, it's, hey gang, I'm Jacob Body by Jake, and here's your fitness tip of the day. Now, my workouts were 30-minute workouts. I used a broomstick, a towel, and a chair. 2 cans of Mama's tomato paste. That was the workout, right? Yeah. I dealt with these A-type personalities. I kept it really fun and upbeat. Yeah. And I had these playmates with me that I rotated in and out. Hey, this is Marilyn, Miss September. This is Barbara, Miss October. And we're going to do the old battissimo curl, you know, whatever the exercise was. Let's squeeze the battissimos. And I do the rapido and look in the camera. And at the end, I say, remember, stick to the fight when your hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. Don't quit. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. And those ran 4 times a day in the States, but it ran 10 or 12 times an hour around the world. Yeah. And unbeknownst to me, the stories, I mean, I had no idea until I went to London to train Harrison Ford for Temple of Doom, right? And we were standing, well, this is what happened. They were shooting at Elstree Studio in London.
For Temple of Doom.
For Temple of Doom.
It was Wheels behind, who was directing?
Wheels directed.
Steven
Wheels,
Spielberg?
Capshaw. Yeah.
Okay.
H is H. Harrison is H. Okay, just get the rapido down. Here we go, right? And
H and Wheels and you in London.
H and Wheels and me in London. And they were doing some second unit stuff, and Harrison, who is a great guy, right, decided to help out. And after he was done, he took the fedora, the leather jacket off, gave it to his driver, Colin Morris, right? And he said, let's get a beer, because everywhere, every corner pub, has a pub. Yeah. So I said, okay, great. At the time, this was 85. I weighed like 245, 250. I always wore the extra medium Baby Gap T-shirt. So, how you doing? What's going on? How you doing? Kept it tight. And he said, let's go to this pub. So as we walk in, I say, I'll take care of things if things get out of hand. Yeah. We walk in, unbeknownst to me, people start going crazy, but not for H. For me. And they're coming around me and they're going, mate, aren't you one of the American footballers? Now, unbeknownst to me, boy, this mic is really...
It's okay. I know you're talking your hands.
I get a little whacked out. Who do you sit here? People, what do you, put them in straitjackets here like this? So, unbeknownst to me, right, it's 85. The Kansas City Chiefs had just scrimmaged at Wembley Stadium for the first time. Yeah. The NFL was there. And people saying, aren't you one of the American footballers? And I go... Yes, I am. And, they were going, right, I saw you on, what number? And I go, 77. That was my lacrosse number in high school. Right, mate, I saw you on the telly. And everyone would buy me a beer, and people are coming around, feeling my arms, and girls are coming around. And I went to look for my buddy, and he disappeared.
Harrison Ford was gone?
He just took off. And I figured, he ghosted me. I figured, you know what? I'll definitely find a ride home tonight. And a couple of minutes later, I'm talking about football. I never played. I'm a Jewish guy. I never played football. My mom didn't let me play football.
I hear you.
And all of a sudden, I hear this screeching. And I figured, they must like my battissimo too. And I go to turn around, and everybody has left me. Harrison went to the car, put the fedora and the jacket on, and he went like this, if I could do this. Just like that.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.